this is Norma and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making some lemon butter pound cake. So I'm going to give you some of the things you have to do before. Put your rack on the middle level and preheat your oven to 325 degrees. And what I'm going to be using, a stick of butter. I'm going to write the instructions, but I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to use butter, I'm going to use baking powder, I'm going to use sour cream, I'm going to use pure lemon extract, and I have lemon also, the fresh one. I have baking soda, salt, all-purpose flour that I sifted, white sugar that I sifted also. I'm going to be using jumbo eggs. I have some Baker Joy that I'm going to spray in my pan. I have some powdered sugar that I'm going to use to make my glaze. I have a bowl right here, and I'm going to put 1.5 cup of the all-purpose flour that I sifted. I have 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. I have a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to mix that together and set it aside. Before I start mixing the wet ingredients, I've grated my lemon rind, and this is the part of the grater that I use, the smaller part, and that's 1.5 teaspoons. That's 1.5 teaspoons of the lemon rind, and then I have 1 tablespoon of the fresh lemon juice, and I'm going to also use pure vanilla extract. So now we can go on to mixing the wet ingredients. I'm going to put 1 stick of butter, which is 1/2 cup, and your butter, your egg, and your sour cream has to be room temperature. And I have 1.5 cups of granulated sugar that I sifted. I'm going to take my blender and start the blend. I'm going to blend it on medium high for 6 minutes and we'll be back. You never want to over mix your cake because it will get hard, and make sure you scrape the edges. So now it's been 6 minutes, and I'm going to add my room temperature eggs one at a time. And when you mix it, put it down to medium and make sure it's only until you don't see the yellow anymore. So usually it takes like a minute, and that should be fine. So let me put the first one in. This is it, and we're going to add the second one. We have 2 more to go. I'm just going to do those 2 for a minute each, and we'll be right back. I've done the eggs. Don't forget to always scrape the sides. And now we're going to move on to putting some of our flour in. And I'm going to turn my blender to low because you don't want to over mix the flour, or else your cake will be hard. I'm only putting 1/2 of my flour in there. And let's take my blender on low. And now I'm going to add my sour cream. It's mixed in, and we're going to put the rest of the flour in there. This is the last set of the flour. Just going to fold that in before we use the mixer. So I mixed it. I mixed it for a minute. I'm going to pour my lemon juice and my lemon rind. And I'm going to first start incorporating it with my spatula. Just folding it over. And now I'm going to get my mixer. So now that it's mixed up, I'm going to put half a teaspoon of my lemon extract and half a teaspoon of my pure vanilla extract. I'm going to fold that in. And use my blender for just a minute to incorporate it, and we will be ready to put it in our baking pan. I'm going to spray baker's joy in my pan, and we'll be right back. I've coated my pan, and I'm going to start putting in my cake mix. I have it in my pan, and I'm just going to try to like smooth it out. And then what you need to do is get the air pockets out. So you have to hit it a few times to get the air pockets out. And I'm going to take it to my oven that's on 325 degrees. It's been 50 minutes and I took my cake out of the oven, and I used my skewer and I just stuck it in my cake. And when it comes out clean, you know your cake is ready. I'm going to let it sit out for 10 minutes and then I'm going to flip it. So now I'm going to start making my glaze. For my glaze, I'm just using some powdered sugar and some lemon juice. And it depends on how thick you want it. So let me start mixing. This is the consistency I'm doing mine. You can make yours thicker, you can make yours thinner. So put your lemon, and then you put your powdered sugar, and just start mixing. So let's go on to the cake. My cake is cool, and now I'm going to start putting my glaze on it. I have glazed my cake, and now I'm going to cut it so you can see the inside. And this is the inside of that nice lemon butter cake. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, hit the notification button So each time I upload, you will be notified. Bye bye.